Assalamu alaikum students. How are you? I hope you all are doing good. Today your teacher is again here with another class for you. So let's continue our class. Before the topics, let me clear you the instructions. Listen to your teacher attentively. You should have required stationery with you during the class, the textbook as well. Keep taking screenshots side by side, especially the homework slides, and wherever you need, you think you have to take the screenshot, quickly take screenshot. Do the assigned home task in your fair copy according to the instructions given by your teacher. Today's topics are the Khyber Pass, that is a chapter in your textbook, page number 76. And the second topic that you will review today is voices, and it's a revision. It's not in detail. We are going to just review voices once again, and then you'll be assigned a home task. So let's start the first topic, the Khyber Pass. The Khyber Pass. Open page number 76 quickly if you haven't opened yet. Who has not heard of the famous Khyber Pass? Khyber Pass is a very famous place in Pakistan, and the people who live in Pakistan, who belong to Pakistan, most of them know about this famous place. There are many who have traveled through some part of it. Obviously, many people have gone through the Khyber Pass. It is a narrow mountain valley. What is Khyber Pass? It is a narrow mountain valley about 50 kilometers long. The word pass actually means a route over or through mountains. Pass means route over mountains. So it's a mountainous valley. That is also a route, and it is about 50 kilometers long. We have to travel through the Khyber Pass to go to Afghanistan. The Khyber Pass leads the travelers to Afghanistan from Pakistan's side. At this side of the Khyber, this is the location. At this side of the Khyber is the famous city of Peshawar, means this is quite near Peshawar, and at the other end, the frontier post of Torkham. When Khyber Pass ends, if it is started from Peshawar's side, so it ends at Torkham, that is the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan. So this is all about the location and what the Khyber Pass actually is, what kind of place actually it is. Now the second paragraph. The Khyber Pass has been famous in history. This is the historical importance of the Khyber Pass because it's a part of nature. It was always there and it had been used in history as a route. The Khyber Pass has been famous in history for thousands of years. The Aryans are kind of Indo-Iranian people. They used to be Indo-Iranian tribe. They used to be. So the Aryans crossed this pass nearly 4,000 years ago and entered Pakistan. They came to Pakistan, present-day Pakistan. It was not Pakistan, obviously, that time. After them came the Mongols and the Tatars. They are two more tribal kind of people who also passed this pass to enter the present-day Pakistan or the South Asia. Sultan Mahmud Ghaznavi crossed the Khyber Pass. Another example, Sultan Mahmud Ghaznavi, is a very famous Muslim ruler who came from the present-day Afghanistan, and he was actually the ruler of present-day Afghanistan and some other territories beyond. And he came to attack South Asia, and 17 times he attacked South Asia, and he came through this pass. Then came other Muslim conquerors, Shahabuddin Ghori, very famous, Babur, and Ahmad Shah Abdali. So these are the examples to show the historical importance of the Khyber Pass, how it was used in history as well, as a route. Okay, now the third paragraph is about the commercial importance of the Khyber Pass. The Khyber Pass has been a famous trade route, means trade is done by following this route, by following this way. Formerly, camel caravans passed through it. The trade would be done by using camels and loaded camels. So in such a way, trade would be done through Khyber Pass. They carried bales of cotton. What goods they would carry? Bales of cotton, silk, spices from India and China. China is also adjacent to Pakistan and India, neighboring country of Pakistan and India. So from China and India to Afghanistan and beyond. Beyond means the adjacent countries to Afghanistan. They brought mirrors. They also would brought different stuff from Afghanistan to India. As they would carry from India to Afghanistan, they would also bring from Afghanistan to India and the other eastern countries adjacent to India. They brought what? Mirrors, furs, skins, and fruits from there for India and the countries to the east. Traders still use this route. The trade is now still this route is used by traders. The trade is now carried on mostly by trains, lorries, and trucks. Means the modern transport is now used because it's a modern era. The Khyber Pass is as busy a trade route today as it was ever before. Khyber Pass was a busy trade route and still it is a busy trade route. Bilal's class fellows made a trip to the Khyber Pass. Now, this situation is being given to you to make you understand the location of the Khyber Pass. So, these are the characters Bilal's and his class fellows, imaginary characters. Bilal's class fellows made a trip to the Khyber Pass, means they decided to go to see the Khyber Pass. They hired a bus for going there. They hired a bus, the transport they hired from Peshawar, means the boys were from Peshawar and started early in the morning. They set off in the morning. About 14 kilometers from Peshawar is the Jamrod checkpost, where they reached after traveling 14 kilometers from the Peshawar's side. They reached the place that is called Jamrod, and there is a checkpost also because these are the sensitive areas and they are under strict control of Pakistan Army. They are nearby areas of the border of Pakistan, one of the borders of Pakistan. That's why they are under strict control of Pak Army. They had to stop there. They had to stop means they had to take a permission letter to further travel. The road through the pass is excellent. This sentence is telling you that the area is mountainous. To build a road is very difficult there. To maintain that road also, not only to build a road, to maintain the road, but the road is excellent. This shows that how important this route is. It runs zigzag through the mountains. The road is not straight. The route is not so straight. It has zigzags. It has twists and turns. In these mountains live the brave tribesmen of the frontier. Who live in these mountains? The people who live in these mountains are actually the tribesmen of the frontier. Frontier means the area is called the frontier area of Pakistan. Region of Pakistan, frontier region of Pakistan. When the British ruled our country, at the time of British government, it means before 1947. These brave tribesmen fought the mighty British Empire for 100 years and defended their freedom. The tribesmen of the frontier are famous for their bravery, so they did not give up their freedom. They kept on fighting against the mighty that was much mightier than them that time, but they kept on fighting against them because they did not want to give up their freedom. Now they are the defenders of the northwest frontier of Pakistan. As a Pakistani, they still defend the northwest frontier part of Pakistan. Bilal and his friends saw some houses and here and there. As I told you that there are some tribesmen who live in these mountains, so they saw houses here and there. What kind of a structure these houses had? On the top of nearly every house was a tower with a long narrow opening in its walls to be used. They saw that along with each house there was a tower, and that particularly tower has a window opening in its walls, and that was to be used for firing at the enemies. As you know, they had been fighting against the British army, so they would construct such kind of towers with opening windows. A shot is hardly ever fired from them now. Now it's peace in Pakistan, so they don't fire at enemies because there are not enemies around them. They are Pakistani, they love Pakistanis. After covering about 30 kilometers, they reach Landikotal, another point, another place while traveling through the Khyber Pass, the highest place along the pass. This is the highest point. Landikotal is the highest place or point along the Khyber Pass. Here the students made a short stop. They took a rest and then they ate some tikkas and chapli kebabs, which are most famous food of this region. They found them quite delicious. They are famous because they are quite delicious. People like it. and also people eat it in different parts of Pakistan. Everywhere in Pakistan they are famous, but these are particularly the food items of this region, the KPK. From Landi Kotal, the road goes down, winding through beautiful scenery. From Landikotal, when they traveled ahead, they saw it was so beautiful around. Before Landikotal, it also was, but now it was very beautiful because of the mountains, the greenery, the twists and turns. The natural beauty was full of, the route is full of natural beauty. Parallel to the road runs the railway line. They also saw that there was not only track or a road to go by bus, they also saw a railway line. It has to run through many tunnels in the mountains, and while going on a train through Khyber Pass, there are many tunnels which come in the way. This railway line was laid in 1925, means before partition, to carry arms and supplies for the British Army. The railway line was actually laid by the British government or under the British government. The brave tribesmen broke up parts of the line again and again as they had been fighting against the British Army. So what they would do to make them into trouble, they would break this railway line from different parts of the railway line again and again, so as to make them into put them into trouble. They do not do so anymore now because it belongs to Pakistan. Now they are Pakistanis, and this area is also the part of Pakistan, so they don't need to do so. Just below the road, the students saw a track along which once traveled camel caravans and mule trains. They also saw that there is still a track that would be used for taking camel caravans and mule trains. Mule, a kind of animal, quite similar to donkey or a horse. And mule trains means a queue of mules with loaded goods. After a journey of 10 kilometers, means from Landi Kotal, they traveled further 10 kilometers and they finally reached Torkham. Torkham is the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan. They saw a chain stretched across the road and the Pakistan flag flying on a hill. What they saw there was a chain stretched like a fence. There was a chain stretched across the road, means it was fencing the road. The chain was fencing the road and the Pakistan flag flying on a hill, because this territory, Torfa border, one side obviously is the territory of Pakistan. So which flag should be flying there? Obviously the Pakistan's flag. They were welcomed, they were received by the soldiers guarding the frontier. Our soldiers not only guard the frontier or not only do their duty as a guard, they also welcome the travelers there as they stood. Now this is the last paragraph. Now the boys have seen the Khyber Pass. They have seen what kind of beauty is around, how long it is, which are different parts of the Khyber Pass, different points of the Khyber Pass, and finally, after watching the Khyber Pass thoroughly, what they are thinking, this is being given in the last paragraph. As they stood looking at the hills, they thought of the brave soldiers of Mahmud, Babar, and Abdali riding along this beautiful pass. They also had been told about Mahmud, Babar, and Abdali as they would come to the present day Pakistan and India. So they were thinking about how they would come, how they would enter, how they entered first time and again over again if they came. They also thought of the caravans which once carried carpets, silks, skins, spices, and fruits through the Khyber Pass to and from the cities of South Asia and beyond. Means they were actually feeling and they were thinking, they were imagining how it would look like when the old in the old time, the old people actually they would enter this place and they would come from this route. They were imagining that scenes in their mind. So this is all about the chapter. In this chapter, what you learned about the details of the Khyber Pass, what actually Khyber Pass is, where it situates, how it looks, what are the important information about the pass you have learned in the chapter. So now let me show you the pictorial description. I think you will find it interesting. This monument you must have seen on currency notes and maybe in magazines, because this is very famous, and this monument actually represents the province KPK. So this is the monument of the Khyber Pass. You can see the entrance of the Khyber Pass from the side of Peshawar. Okay, now the next picture, the beautiful aerial view of the Khyber Pass. This is, you can see the road zigzag going in the form of zigzag. You can see this route is actually the route of the Khyber Pass or the Khyber Pass, and you can see the mountains around, the greenery around, how naturally beautiful it is. Okay, so this is Khyber Pass. Finally, you can imagine what kind of pass it is and how much twists and turns are in it. Okay, Jam Road. As I told you, the boys reached Jam Road and there is a check post and they had to obtain a permit. So this is Jam Road, a railway track you can see behind, but the check post is not in the picture. This is Jam Road, the place Jam Road. Okay, now, Landi Kotal, the highest place along the Khyber Pass. This is Landi Kotal, a train you can see, a tower you can see, mountain you can see, bridge you can see, linking kind of bridge, some houses over the hill you can see, on the hill, sorry, you can see. So this is Landi Kotal and this is the highest place along the Khyber Pass. Okay, Torkham border. This is Torkham border. You can see Pakistan Gate Torkham is written. You can see in the picture. So this is the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan, and this border is also called Durand Line. You must have learnt about it in uh, SST, okay, or PST. So now the next topic which I told you in the beginning is voices. And in English grammar, when we talk about voices, so there are two kind of voices. One is called active voice and the second is called passive voice. So a very simple definition of active voice, as you know what active voice actually is and passive voice, I'm just sharing a very simple definition with you. Means the subject is doing the action. Action means verb. That is the basic part of a sentence. Without action, without verb, sentence cannot be formed. So when we relate action to the subject, means who is doing the action? The subject. The doer is doing the action. That is called subject. The doer of the action is called subject in a sentence commonly. So this is the active structure. Active structures are more common that we use in our conversation while writing something, describing something, talking to someone. We use active voice. Okay. Now the passive voice. Obviously, active and passive, these are two different voices, so they are definitely different from each other. Passive voice means the subject is receiving the action. This time, we are not focusing on who is doing the action, who is the subject. We are focusing that the subject is receiving the action. And why do we make passive voice? There are situations when we make passive voice. Sometimes the subject, the doer, is understood. So we don't ponder over the subject because that is already understood. So then we make passive voice. Sometimes we are not aware of the subject, but we are aware of the action, then we can make passive. Sometimes we have to show, we have to give importance to the object. Subject is less important. In such a condition, we also make passive voice. But again, I'm telling you, active voice is much more common than passive structure or passive voice. Okay. The rules of changing active voice into passive voice. These are the basic 4 rules you have to follow for changing active voice. That are, you can say, the common structures. Then we change. Actually, we first learn active voice means you are taught tenses first, and then teacher teaches you about active and passive voice. Active means the tenses actually, and then teacher tells you how to change these structures into their passive forms. So these are the basic 4 rules. Number 1, subject and object of the sentence are interchanged. What we do, we put subject in place of the object and we put object in place of the subject. The addition of subject in the sentence is not necessary to complete the sentence. Without subject, a passive structure is considered complete. Got it? But if we have to put the subject, where to put the subject? So where to put the subject? We have to put the subject in place of the object. So they are interchanged. Number 2, only third form of verb, that is called past participle, is used in passive voice. Whatever the tense you are taking to make it passive, the form of verb is going to be third form of verb. If the tense already has third form of verb, you will repeat the third form of verb. But if the tense has other forms of verbs, like it has progressive form of verb, so you have to change it into third form of verb for making passive. If it has past tense, you have to change into third form of verb. If it's infinitive, you have to change into third form of verb. Every form of verb will be changed into third form of verb for making the passive of the structure. Number 3, by, that is a preposition we commonly use in sentences. By is particularly added before subject after being interchanged. Means when we interchange the subject, we put the subject at the place of object. So what we do, before writing the subject, we write by and then the subject. If the subject is pronoun, what we do, when it's a subject, so it has a subjective form. When it becomes the object means when it is put at the place of object, it has to be written in its objective form. Got it? Like I, me. You remains you. He, him. She, her. These are the examples of subjective and objective forms of pronouns in a sentence. Now the fourth one, be verbs are put accordingly. In every passive sentence, we put be verbs accordingly, means according to the kind of sentence or according to the tense. We put be verbs. Sometimes helping verbs are already there, so we keep them intact and then we add a be verb with that helping verb. Okay, so let's see the charts of the structures, active and passive voice structures we are going to see. Okay, all the present tenses. Present simple. She sings a song. You can see this is the subject she. It's a verb now, that is singular because we are putting s here. A song. This is object. So for passive, what we have to do, this object we will write here a song, then the be verb, because in this structure there is no helping verb. So what are be verbs is mr, was, were, and the word be and its different forms. So here there is no helping verb already in the structure. So what we are going to do, directly we are writing the be verb is. Why is? Because our song is a singular noun, is sung. Sing is the infinitive or the first form of the verb. Now what is the past participle or third form of sing? Sing, sang, sung. So it's sung. Addition of by, and this she, that is the subject, will be written here after by and its objective form, that is her. Present continuous, the same sentence I'm taking here. She is singing a song. This was she sings a song. This is she is singing a song. Now a song, object is here, then is because it's a singular noun. Now be verb. As I told you, there was no helping verb, but here it is, that is already a be verb. So what we are going to do after this be verb, we will see this form of verb, that is progressive. So we will put the progressive form of the word be, that is been. Got it? Because here it is progressive, it's a continuous sentence. So it is necessary to show progressive form of verb in passive also. So this is been. Then the third form, sing, will become sung again, because in every passive it's always third form. Addition of by, and then the subject she, her. Present perfect, she has sung a song. Now this is the helping verb, this is the main verb and the object. So now this is the object. Has is already the helping verb, and now why we are putting been, the third form of be here, because has is called perfective, and after perfective it must be third form of verb. You can see This is third form of verb. So what you have to do, you have to show the perfect tense by putting the third form of be verb, that is been, and now this is the main verb and you have to write in third form. Already it was in third form because it was a perfect tense. It is a perfect tense. So sung by her. Present perfect continuous tense, the active structure is this is she, this is for example a subject, has been the helping verbs, singing, progressive verb because it's a perfect continuous tense and a song. But this tense cannot be changed into passive voice. So past tenses, simple past tense. What we do in simple past tense? We use second form of verb that is called past tense. They watched a movie. So a movie is a subject here, object sorry here. A movie was. Why was? Because a movie is a singular subject and there is no helping verb. So what we have to do, we have to directly put the be verb, but it's a past tense. So what we have to do, the past form of the be verb, that is was in were, and here it's a singular subject, singular noun, so we have to put was. Then the third form of verb watched, addition of by, and this they will become them. Past continuous, they were watching a movie. Similarly, a movie was being watched. What we are doing, watching, this is ing form because of being the continuous tense. So this progressive form will be also followed by putting the progressive form of being in the passive. Was, being, watched, this is the third form of passive voice, by addition, and then they will become them. Past perfect, they had watched a movie. This is the helping verb had because had, has, have, they are perfective. In perfect tense, we put them as helping verb. Then the third form of verb and this object. So object had been. Why been? Because it is a perfect tense. After had, that is a perfective. It is always a third form of verb. So what we have to do, we have to put the third form of be verb, that is been, and then watch the third form of passive verb, and then addition of by and them. Past perfect continuous tense, they had been. This is the helping verbs of the tense, and then the progressive form of verb because it's a continuous tense as well. This is the object. This tense cannot be changed into passive voice. Now the future tenses. See, this is future simple. The structure you know very well. This is subject. Now the helping verb, the first form of verb, and the object. So what we are going to do, the object here, the helping verb will, we will keep it intact here. But as it is the first form of verb after will, so what we have to do, the first form of be verb, that is be itself. So will be, it will become, and then by, the main verb, we will put in its third form, bought, by, bought, by, the addition of by, me. A new car will be bought by me. Future continuous. Now there is a difference from present continuous and past continuous. I will be, these are the helping verbs. Now the progressive form of verb and the object. This tense cannot be changed into passive because if we make it passive, we have no grammatical structure to be made as a passive of this tense. So this tense cannot be changed into passive. Future perfect. I will have bought a new car. Will have. Now you can see the perfective once again here. And will shows future tense. So will have, these are the helping verbs. Now the third form of verb and object. So the object we are putting in the beginning. Then will have already we have to keep intact. And then after have it's the third form. So third form of be verb been. And then the third form of passive. Addition of by and I. That is the subject. We will write here at the place of the object. So this is the objective form, me. A new car will have been bought by me. Future perfect continuous, similarly, it has active structure, that is its basic structure. I will have been buying a new car, will have been, these are the helping verbs we use here, and then the progressive form of verb, a new car. So this is the structure of future perfect continuous, active voice, but this tense cannot be changed into passive. Okay, some other kinds of sentences I'm showing you. Imperative sentences. What are imperative sentences? You know very well. The sentences we use to talk about warning someone or to talk about advising or ordering someone, suggesting someone. So these are the examples of the active voice. Shut the door, wash your hands, clean the surface, don't turn on the TV. These are three positive sentences. This one is negative sentence. So these are the examples of imperative sentences. And I know my students know about imperatives very well. what we do to change the imperative sentences into their passive. In an imperative sentence, subject is not written but object is written. So for passive, object is must, and then we can make its passive. So object is here, so we can easily make the passive. The door. This is, for example, the object of the sentence. So what we do? We add let, then the object, then addition of be, because be verb is always there, and then the main verb in its third form. The third form of shut is shut also. So let the door be shut. Shut the door, let the door be shut. Wash your hands. Now your hands, this is the object. So let your hands, the object, then the addition of be, and then the third form of wash is washed. Wash your hands, let your hands be washed. Clean the surface, let the surface be clean. Don't turn on the TV. Now there is addition don't, that is showing the sentence is a negative sentence. So how would we change it into imperative? Similarly, only we have to add the word not, because we do not carry the word do in the passive. So let the TV not be turned on. Modal verbs. There are different modal verbs. Some I am showing you, like can, should, and may. You can do this job. You should follow the rules. They may play cricket. So these are different modal verbs. What we do to make them passive? What we do now? Take object. This job here. Can, the modal verb. Now addition of be verb. Then do is the main verb. We have to write in its third form because it's a passive and it's always third form in passive. So this is the passive. Addition of by and you is the subject will remain you because both subjective and objective form of you are you. So this job can be done by you. He should follow the rules. The rules should be followed by him. Why we are adding be? Because it's a be verb, and then follow, the third form of follow is followed. They may play cricket. Cricket may be played by them. So in such a way, we make passives of different modal verbs, and in such a way, we make passives of the imperative sentences. I hope you have got how to change imperative into the passive by adding let and then the object. Once again, I'm telling you, let, the object, be verb, the word be itself, and then the third form of verb. Similarly, modal verbs, we have to take the object in the beginning, then the modal verb, then the addition of be, then the third form of the verb, addition of by, and the subject. But if I say this job can be done, so this is a complete sentence also. By you is not necessary to be the part of the sentence. That's the reason we can change the imperative sentences into passive, because they have object but they do not have subject. They start from the verb. Okay, so if I say I am putting full stop after done, so this sentence is complete sentence. Okay, the addition of by you is not necessary to complete the passive structure. Okay, home assignment. What I'm going to share with you, home assignment I'm going to share with you. See, this is the home assignment of Pass. Take quick screenshot. Mind map you have to draw. You have to answer these 2 questions and the 10 questions on the in your book on page number 78. Then exercise of blanks on page number 78, 79, 10 blanks are there. You have to do in book, and then construct 8 textual MCQs on your own by taking the informative lines from the chapter. So this is the homework of the Pass. You are supposed to take quick screenshot. Okay. These are 8 sentences I'm giving you. These are in active form and you have to change into their passive forms. So take a screenshot of these. Then I'll show you the second page. Okay. Change these active sentences into passive. Then change these passive sentences into active. Take the screenshot of these sentences quickly. These are 8 in total, not enough. Okay. So let's end the class with this quotation. To have another language is to possess a second soul. Charlemagne, a very famous king, said this quote about the importance of learning a language. So this is all from my side. I hope you got it well. Do your homework accordingly, and Allah Hafiz. Take very good care of yourself.